All right, we are going to get started here with our post-race media availabilities for the Fitzgerald Glider Kits 300 with the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We are joined by our second place finisher, Ryan Blaney, the driver of the number 22 Fitzgerald Glider Kits Ford. Ryan, why don't you just take us through that final restart there?
The final restart was simple. We got lucky and started fourth and got to second. And we weren't close enough to make any kind of hope for it. But I thought our car was really good long run. We needed about 25 laps to even out, and then 30 we could really start making ground. When we moved up, we weren't very good on the bottom. We were really loose down there getting going. And the 20 and the 18 and a couple other cars were really fast on short runs. And we got the lead with maybe 70 to go or something, and just never got a long run. It went 20 laps and had a caution or less than that, and just never really went our way towards the end of the race as far as long runs, which is unfortunate, but you'll have that. So we got to figure out how to get our cars better short run speed. We were way off on takeoff and fire off, and that's hard to do. It's hard to hold on to any position like that. So and these races never come down to long runs. It's all about who's got good speed for 10, 15 laps. So not a bad day. Wanted to try to win one for Fitzgerald. That was a big deal, them sponsoring the race and be on the car, but close once again, just not quite close enough.
All right, we'll now open up to questions for Ryan. We will start up here in the front with Bob.
Bob Cockers, ESPN. I caught some of your radio transmission as far as the contact with Erik. Did they say that he was on the brakes? They thought he was on the brakes when he hit you, or you know, and was that just racing?
Yeah, it's just racing deal. He got to second there, and I knew he was super fast, short run speed for 20 laps or so, and I felt like I had to protect the best I could, try to protect the bottom, and I pinched him a little bit into three, the corner before that. And we were kind of messed up our momentum there, and it was close getting into turn one, and I tried to get in pretty deep and clear myself to try to regain our composure and go back again, and he got in there hard as well, and we just made contact. That's hard racing. I knew I pushed the issue. You take a chance of trying to clear somebody right there, and sometimes it just doesn't work out for you, and he was committed to being in there, so that's just a racing incident. I don't have any hard feelings about it, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Do we have any additional questions for Ryan in the media center? Get back to Bob.
Any idea after running this race as far as the tires and all the stuff that's being picked up from the rosin on the lower groove?
Yeah, the racetrack was interesting today. There was a lot of rubber buildup on the bottom when you get a bunch of cars out there, and that's just going to get worse tomorrow. That's just going to clump up a lot. You kind of saw that at Martinsville a handful of weeks ago of it. Long runs, it kind of clumps up on the bottom, and with this rosin, it does it even quicker. It lays that rubber down even faster, so your car has to kind of get over those fairly decent, and under caution, your tires pick all that up, so you got to make sure it's definitely clean. But I was pretty excited to see the top come in, to be honest with you. After maybe 30 laps or so, that you could roll the top pretty good. And I felt like that gave you decent options as far as running the bottom, running the top, with lap cars and things like that. You can maneuver fairly well. So that showed hope. I wasn't very hopeful in all the practice, Cup practice or Xfinity, just because it was so fast on the bottom, and moving up you were slower. But it was nice to see us being able to move around. And like I said, in the Cup cars, that's just going to get worse tomorrow, laying down rubber on the bottom and up top. So it's the most rubber I've seen ever laid down here in a long time, and it will definitely be very challenging tomorrow.
All right, Ryan, well, thanks for joining us. Congratulations and good luck tomorrow.
Thanks.
We'll continue with our post-race media availabilities for today's Fitzgerald Glider Kits 300, the NASCAR Xfinity Series. We are joined by our Dash for Cash winner today, Daniel Hemric, the driver of the number 21 Blue Gate Bank Chevrolet. In addition to winning the Dash for Cash bonus today, you also won Stage 2, collecting a bonus point for the playoffs and some extra points in driver standings. Why don't you just take us through that race there and the excitement that you feel right now?
It was a whirlwind, that's for sure. We started the race off a little tighter than we wanted to be, and I heard Ryan talking about how the rubber was building up and how it was changing everybody's handling. And we were okay, just the pace was so fast in the beginning. We found ourselves a lap down, but we're fortunate enough to get a lucky dog. Then Danny Stockman, everybody worked their tails off on our car to get better every time we had an opportunity to come down pit road. And once we got our last set of tires, I thought, man, we actually have something pretty good here. They were able to get to the Dash for Cash spot. But it's a huge testament, winning the stage and all that good stuff. We haven't done a great job of managing our weekends and maximizing our points throughout the year. So it was good to be able to do that. And would you know it, when you do that stuff, it all kind of works itself out. So just fortunate to be in the situation, fortunate to be with RCR and a group of guys I have, and thankful for the day and how crazy it was.
Great. We will open up to questions. We actually have one up in the press box. We will start there.
Chris Knight, CatchFence.com. Daniel, you head to Richmond next weekend on the heels of a good, strong finish today, but you've never been to Richmond. How do you today's finish and approach another Dash for Cash race?
It's definitely not going to hurt us, that's for sure. You know, going to Richmond, like I said, a place I haven't been to, really heavily going to lean on Austin and Ty and, you know, Brandon, all of our teammates we have such depth at RCR that we have a ton of data and notes to go off of. So I felt really strong about our short track package so far this year. We've never been really that far off. We just kind of, you know, maximize our speed a little differently, but we've done a good job of having speed off the truck at these places. So going to Richmond, just got to make sure we do the same thing we did today, put ourselves in position, maximize our day, and the rest will fall into place.
We'll come over here to Kenny.
Kenny Brooks with NASCAR.com. Daniel, at what point out there are you focusing on the guys that you're running in the Dash for Cash program, and all of a sudden, hey, we've got a shot, we could possibly win this race?
In all honesty, in the back of my mind, we haven't put ourselves in position to run for a win this year, an honest, you know, be an honest threat. I felt like we were doing that as the stages went by and as the laps went by. So Dash for Cash it's always lingering there, but it's not something that crosses your mind. And then when the 00 and the 7 fell back there, and you know, the 62 had his problems, it put us in a really good spot. At that point, it was you know, being aware of the situation I was in, but obviously we're running, you know, second, third there at times, and had a shot to win the race. And I can promise you, if you win the race, you'll definitely win the Dash for Cash, and that's what our ultimate goal was. Hey, we came up short of that, but the 20 had an incredible run from his penalty to come back and win, and he had a ton of speed. And when him and the 22 got into it, I thought we were going to have an opportunity, or an opportunity to lose it all at the same time when we all stacked up in 1 and 2. But luckily it worked out, and we were able to come on fifth.
Staying out instead of coming in before the end of the stage, I mean, how much discussion was there for that?
There really wasn't much. You know, between the 2 rain delays, we had a lot of time to figure out what we wanted to do, and we had it stuck in our mind what our plan was. We knew what some of our teammates were going to do and how it was going to improve our track position. I honestly didn't think everybody would come down in front of us, so obviously we were given a golden ticket there to go try to win some points. So able to get a good restart, and you know, with the caution laps counting, just had to try to be flawless for 2 laps and get it to the next stage and have an opportunity to come down and work on it. Being able to do that is what really put ourselves in position, because the last adjustment from Danny Stockman really gave us a shot at the end of the race.
We'll go to Kelly next.
Kelly Crandall, Racer.com. Daniel, Kevin Harvick was in the Fox booth today calling the race, and one of the things he said about you was it seemed like that stage win almost kind of gave you a boost of confidence and maybe calmed you down a little bit for the 3rd stage, just kind of going race. You know, a lot was going on to get that stage win, but what does being able to do that, did that do anything for you either today or going forward? Yeah, it's huge confidence. Anytime you can, let alone run in a group of guys like this series is so stacked full of talent from top to bottom, and you got the Dash for Cash on the line and all that stuff, so there's a lot of tension. But like I was saying earlier, it's the first time we found ourselves in a legitimate shot to lead laps, be in position, and have a shot at the end of one of these races. So being able to get a good launch on that restart to end that stage and win the stage and put ourselves in position for the Dash for Cash, it was a confidence booster, not only for me, but you know, in all honesty, it's the first time I've been in an Xfinity car on the front row coming to the green at any part of the race. So there's a lot of variables there you got to hurdle over, but I felt like we were able to do that and continue to improve on our day.
Do we have any final questions for our Dash for Cash winner? All right, Daniel, thanks for joining us. Congratulations.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
We are going to wrap up our post-race media availabilities for today's Fitzgerald Glider Kits 300 here at Bristol Motor Speedway. We are joined by our race-winning crew chief, Christopher Gabehart, and driver Erik Jones of the number 20 Reesers American Classic Toyota. Gentlemen, why don't you each take us through your perspective both on the pit box and behind the wheel for that final restart in the end there. We can start with you, Chris, if you want.
Wow. So we had a kind of an up and down season a little bit last year. It was good, but not as good as I thought it could be, and some of it was luck related. So when we got a penalty with 60 or so to go and had to restart 15th at the tail end, if you'd have told me we were going to win the race at Bristol 60 laps later, I would have told you were crazy. So I think some of that luck came back our way.
Yeah, same for me. Restarting. I mean, we had an okay car all day. I felt like if we would have gotten out front, got some clean air, maybe we could have held those guys off. The 42 was really fast all day. But other than that, getting the speeding penalty with 60 to go, I didn't really think we had any shot of winning, but we just kept getting restarts in the right spot. We kept restarting on the top and got a quick caution right after we got sent to the tail end for the penalty and got us lined back up. We're in our running order. And 2 quick cautions got us up to, I think 8th, and all of a sudden we were 4th. So with 20 to go, we got a good restart, went up and got the lead. And once we got clean air, from there it was just kind of hanging on and managing my own car, trying to stay in the VHT down there and hold everybody else off.
All right, we'll open up to questions for Chris and Erik. If you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. We'll start here with Stan.
Erik, Stan Creekmore with Outside the Box. What would be the one thing you learned today that you will find important tomorrow?
I think the biggest thing for me that I was trying to pay attention to was the way the track was going to move around, and it actually moved around a lot more than I thought and a lot quicker than I thought. We were up top, I think, the first run was on the bottom, but after that we went right up top. Then we kind of went back to the bottom, and then after the rain came and washed all the rubber off, especially those clumps that we got on the bottom, it was right on the bottom the rest of the way. So it was really interesting to see that. It doesn't look like there's visibly much VHT left, but there's still a lot of grip down there. So it's really interesting to see that, and I think that's the biggest thing. It's really hard to adjust your car for both lanes. When we moved up that one run, I thought, man, okay, well, we got to get our stuff good on the top now, and then we moved back to the bottom. So it was kind of a challenge to keep up with, but I think we learned a lot for tomorrow.
Do we have any additional questions for Erik and Chris? All right, gentlemen, congratulations. Good luck tomorrow, Erik.